Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fantastic edition of Sitback with Shaq and Anu. We're coming to you live on Channel 1 Dialogue TV and, of course, live on our Podhub platforms on YouTube. As always, bringing some exciting guests on the show, talking about the current trending topics in Sri Lanka. And every day we have some wonderful guests. And, of course, as you can see, I think we're privileged enough to actually have one of the most prestigious guests that we've had on the show so far. Anu.
Absolutely. We are deeply honored actually to welcome Field Marshal Sarath Fonseka onto the show, who is also, SJB parliamentarian. And, I have to say this, I'm a big fan of yours, sir. Deep respect for you. And as you know, we always have a poll on the show. We retrofit that question to suit the guest. And, so this is something that a lot of Sri Lankans are concerned about, and a lot of people feel that should Field Marshal Sarath Fonseka be in charge, this problem would go away.
Right.
So without further ado, let's take a look at the poll. So here we are back again, and today's poll is this. Is the lack of law and order in Sri Lanka now the worst you have seen? Yes or no answers only. Please WhatsApp your answers to our hotline 077 669 1590. And at the end of the show, we will tell you the results as they stand.
Right, thank you so much for being a part of the show. And of course, as always, we're going to dive deep into the conversation with Field Marshal Sarath Fonseka on the show with us. And also, if you have any questions, by all means, please drop us a message. And the number is on your screen right now. There you have it, 077 669 1590. And of course, we'll have the questions popping up on the screen and have, of course, Field Marshal answer for you. So now, of course, first question, you're a decorated soldier, and you defeated terrorism, and you could be basically enjoying your retirement at that point, right on top. But you decided to run for president back in 2010. Why did you want to get into politics after all that?
It's like this. Actually, when I retired, I had 2 more years to go.
Right.
I was working as Chief of Defence Staff. The attitude of Rajapaksas, who were running the show at that time, President and Secretary Defence, in the aftermath of the war,
Right.
Where he was very interested to, after we accomplished the war, he was very interested to see various other areas, say within the military.
Right.
There had to be a lot of jobs to be done, because army was shattered at that time. We after going through 2.5 years,
Right.
Our equipments, our various the troop numbers, the status quo, everything had gone down.
Right.
A lot of weapons had got destroyed, so I had to put everything in order.
Okay.
So when I started talking about those things, they never responded properly to start with.
Okay.
My people are still under the bushes in the culvert. Some places they had no place to wash their clothes even.
Right.
There were no toilet facilities.
Right.
Soon after the fighting, a huge army of 200,000.
Right.
So I was asking for various facilities. I had to project the requirements, but they were not interested.
Okay.
Put the army back in proper order.
Yeah.
So I was getting a little disappointed also. Then at the same time, I was watching the moment the war was over. I was very closely associating the leadership.
Yes.
They were interested more on the other issues like earning money, borrowing money.
Right.
So I thought what we expected was once this war is over, a 32-year-old war,
Right.
that they will concentrate mostly on the development sincerely.
Right.
They'll start thinking about thinking sincerely about the development and work with some commitment. But I could not see any of those things happening. After 6 months after the war was over, they were more interested about their political activities to groom up their image, and also money earning because we had to still settle a lot of bills.
Right.
Correct.
To China and various places.
Right.
So even in settling those things, I realized that they were paying a lot of unnecessary money. Now, for example, 130 millimeter artillery shell. When the war started, we were buying at $200 each.
Right.
We were buying in large numbers, basically.
Right. Right.
Shiploads of shells coming. Last 15 years before that, it had gone up only by $50. By the time we were coming toward the end of the war, from 200 it went up to 650.
Right.
Yeah.
So I knew that because we were only projecting our requirements. All the discussion, deals, everything was sorted out at the ministry level.
Right.
So I realized at very early stage that there is a lot of things happening here, also a lot of corruption, and they had other interest.
Right.
Therefore, I was not happy anyway. I was getting fed up with their attitude and their approach, all that. So I thought I must go.
Right.
In fact, when they put me to a Chief of Defence Staff appointment, even that appointment, they had not prepared it properly. The appointment had no operational responsibilities.
Okay.
It was like administrative appointment. So I
Right.
was wondering why should I waste my time
Absolutely.
just hanging around, having all the facilities. I had a lot of facilities.
Right.
3 bulletproof cars.
Right.
I had about 8 defenders following me when I go.
Right.
And 500 men giving security for me. I thought better to get out rather than hanging around with all these things, wasting time.
Right.
When I left, of course, had I been hanging around, then I would have finished my next 2 years. Then, like many others, I would have got an appointment abroad or something.
Right.
But I was not interested. Those are things. Otherwise, I would have gone one day as Secretary Defence or something. Had I remained in good books with them.
Right.
But I was not interested. I did a job of work. After that, I thought I will get out. I thought I must not remain anymore with these people. Because even whatever the good name I had achieved,
Right.
it also can also get tarnished.
That's right.
Of course, sir.
I decided to go. After I left, of course, UNP, that time the opposition was almost collapsing.
Right.
Because they were campaigning against the war.
Right.
After we won the war, the UNP didn't know where to go.
Right. Right. Right.
I don't think they could find even a candidate for the
Right.
presidential election.
Right.
Nobody wanted to contest from their side. So when I was offered, UNP spoke to me, the UNP leadership. JEP came and spoke to me. I thought to do the balance work in the country, remaining work, I'll try to do whatever I can do, the political approaches.
Right.
Of course, sir.
Political approach that also can do a lot of things if there are correct people at the correct place. That was the reason why I decided to come to politics.
Right. Right. Right.
At any point, sir, have you regretted that decision?
No, I don't regret. Even when I was put in the jail, I never regretted.
Yeah.
Because I still think I have a bit of energy in me. I still feel I can do much better than many other politicians who are hanging around.
For sure.
So therefore, I think we are never too late if we can, at some stage, if the people understand
Right.
Absolutely.
that the country is going down the drain, the collapsing, the people realize that
Yeah.
some people who can take the responsibility and take challenges can shoulder this.
Right.
Then obviously they might give us a chance to
Absolutely.
do something for the country.
Sir, related question has come in what you were talking about, especially winning the war. How much was the contribution of the Rajapaksa leadership in us winning the civil war in 2009? This is Miftah Sriyan. He's asking this because they don't miss a chance to bring it up when they address the public at every possible opportunity.
It's going to be a little bit of a long answer
By all means.
because you all know the way the war started
Yeah.
with the closure of Mavillaru and Ikat. When they closed the Mavillaru, I was in Singapore undergoing treatment.
Right.
After the suicide attack on me, I was 1.5 months hospitalized here.
Right.
Then I had some wounds which had got infected. Then I had to go to Singapore, especially my stomach injuries.
Right.
So when Mavillaru was closed, also I was still undergoing treatment. Of course, then a lot of wounds had got healed. Still, there was a treatment to be done from outside.
Right.
So I thought at that stage there is problem in the country. I thought there were 2 doctors with me who had gone from Sri Lanka, also military doctors.
Okay.
I asked them whether we can manage the balance now because there was an opening here. It had got healed on the stomach. They said, yes, we can get all the medicine from me and go back. Dressings and injections, everything. So I decided to take a flight and come. For the last 3 months in hospital, I had been drinking only 100 milliliters of water.
Wow.
No food for 3 months.
Wow.
I was 89 kgs when I got injured. I had gone down to 72 kgs.
Right.
I had to go to airport on the wheelchair.
Right.
But when I got down here, somehow I managed to come out with a walking stick and go up to the ambulance. So I came, the first thing I did was gave a call to Gotabe. When I gave the call, he told me before I started, he asked me questions. He said, Sarath, there is a problem here. I asked, so what's happening? He was talking about Mavillaru.
Right.
He asked me, what shall we do? He's asking me now. They have been here 3 days after it was closed.
Right.
I said, what is the acting army commander doing? The acting army commander was his batchmate, actually, Gotabe's best friend. He was my deputy.
Right.
Then he said that we can't go to war because we don't have enough manpower or something.
Right.
Then I said, you give me little time, I'll contact the people in Trincomalee and come back to you within about an hour. I spoke to the General of the Command in Trincomalee Division. Mavillaru comes under Trincomalee.
Right.
And after that I spoke to Gotabe again and I said, I am going to fight back and capture it. So that is how Mavillaru started.
Okay.
Up to that time, a lot of politicians like our revolutionary types like Champika, Vimal, they have been asking Mahinda, why not send the army?
Right.
Mahinda Rajapaksa has been flatly refusing.
That's right.
Saying, uttering all sort of filth and saying that how to fight and various things. So they had no idea of going to war.
Right.
Even Mahinda Chintane 2005 say that he doesn't believe in war. He'll talk to Prabhakaran personally and come to a
Negotiated settlement.
Peaceful
Yeah.
negotiation, settlement. That was his thinking. So when I say I will fight and take it, Gotabe said, hold on for a while. He spoke to Mahinda, so after they could refuse because they were ready to fight back.
Right.
That is how the war started. So after that, my job was to rescue Mavillaru, but immediately after that, I followed up by capturing Sampur also. Before I finished capturing Sampur, I started engaging Wakare also for the south.
Right.
Like that I wanted to continue this now.
Right.
Nobody interfered with me. Nobody asked me to stop. Nobody asked me to continue.
Right. That's like the best thing that happened.
Yes. Only time I can still remember, of course, Security Council, Mahinda, say every 1 month or so, he used to ask me how long it will take, Sarath, how fast can we finish and all that.
Right.
I said it's going to take time. We are fighting a 35,000 well-equipped army basically.
Yeah, right.
So you can't win it overnight. So then he goes to sleep in the Security Council after that.
Right.
He goes to sleep, his secretary goes to sleep. The Radhasri Kurunayaka is very nice man, but when these people are not uttering a word, when I put my maps and explain to them also, they are sleeping. About 1 hour every week I was explaining the progress.
Right.
Only time Gotabe was trying to recommend something to me. Once I can remember he asked me, I was fighting Shavindra Silva in Mana.
Right.
There was a very tough fighting going on. I was not trying to move forward fast because my all concepts and everything was created to take a kill, rather than going to capture the land.
Right, right.
I had learned the mistakes our predecessors made.
Right, right.
And the Vaunia, there was a division. Even there, first person commanding the division know that Manawad who came to abduct me.
Right. Yes.
After 3 months fighting, he came and cried in front of me and said he can't do it anymore.
Right.
Then I put Jagat Das there. They were fighting. Jagat Das started when I was still fighting in the east. I got Jagat Das to go out that particular division from Vaunia. I wanted to engage in north also before I even completed the east.
Right.
So I knew Shavindra was asking me a number of occasions. He had stiff resistance there. Before that, Chagigala gave us, he had heart attack.
Right.
After 3 months. Even Shavindra, after about 2 months, complained of chest pain. I sent him to Kandy and got a checkup done and brought him back.
Right.
So they were under so much stress.
Yes.
Of course.
So Shavindra used to ask me on and off, sir, can you put another division from Madhu side? So between these two divisions, he thought, if I put another one, obviously things will become a little easier for them.
Right.
But I don't believe that, like in a cricket match, you don't try to put a field everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So you are not agreeing with that. I didn't have divisions so much. So one day Gotabe also asked me, can't you put a division here? So when he asked me, I knew these Shavindra's requirements.
Right.
Other than that, he never came out with any ideas, any instruction until I finished the war.
Right.
When I was, Nathikandal, where we almost ended up.
Yes. Yes.
Then
Yes.
Pudukudurupu is just,
Yeah, all right.
say, 5 kilometers short of the eastern coast.
Right.
After we captured Pudukudurupu, they were pushed onto that coastal belt.
That's right.
12 kilometers by 4 kilometers.
That's right.
In January 2009, I came and surrounded Pudukudurupu
Right.
by January, end of January. Without listening to me, Mahinda Rajapaksa declared ceasefire for 2 days.
Right.
I was resisting. I said, don't do it, because I never wanted to lose initiative at any stage. We kept fighting 24 hours of the day,
Right.
in the rain, in the drought, everywhere we were fighting. So I didn't want to give a respite to them. So I was forced to give the ceasefire. The same night, LTT fought back,
Right.
hit us back, came with a counter-attack.
Right.
You were pushed 5 kilometers back. If I was pushed another 3 kilometers back, I would have lost the whole war.
Right.
All what he had done for 2 years.
Right.
Would have collapsed the whole thing, deployment.
Right.
So likewise, so that was the only time he wanted to interfere. Then I don't know for what reason, I still can remember Gotabe, when I was, say somewhere around February, now it was becoming almost like sergeants and corporals war.
Right.
Because the difficult part is gone.
Yeah.
We as generals had nothing to do. It was rolling forward.
Right.
Then Gotabe one day was asking me again. There was a chap, the Jagat Jayasuriya, who took off from me. He was the man looking after the Vaunia defense line
Okay.
and doing administration for the troops in front.
Right.
So one day he was asking me, just 2 months ahead of finishing the war, Sarath, you may be very tired now. Why don't you ask Jagat Jayasuriya to take over now? So I knew now they have to start writing the books now.
Of course,
I
of
realized I am not a fool. They thought now the job is almost done. Sarath Fonseka can quietly be sidelined.
Right.
Somebody will just move it forward. Then they can say, I did that, he did this, and my brother did this, all that.
Of course.
Which came about.
Which is how they portrayed it. And
Yes.
sir, but actually, we thought that you had a very amicable, relationship with them while this war effort was going forward. But
Actually-
clearly, the reality is very
It was
different.
amicable. But when it was coming to last stages, in fact, now after I captured Kilinochi, after we pushed the LTT almost close to Pudukudurupu, we went towards east about 35 kilometers.
Right.
Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabe decided to visit Kilinochi without asking even me.
Okay.
So they had spoken to the people on the ground and they had decided to go.
Right.
Because these are all political moves. of
Right.
course.
Right.
But because they went there, I had to control my offensives and various things for 2 days.
Right.
So likewise, certain unnecessary things they were doing.
Yeah.
But of
Which
course,
could have actually
I was
jeopardized
also
the-
tolerating as much as possible.
Right. Right.
I never thought that they will exceed the limits towards the last stages.
Right, right. I mean, that question was a pretty good question because most often than not, because that is what almost every political rally they seem to bank on.
In fact, they won the second election on that.
A landslide,
Yeah.
pretty much on a landslide.
Yeah.
So let's move into the current situation right now and see what is actually going on. Now, in the recent past, we obviously had the Aragalia that was on for the last 4 months, which obviously turned out to be massively successful because so many things were actually happening. But over a period of time, the military started getting flack for the Aragalia because of the
How
fact
they were
that,
treating them.
exactly. But they are only following orders at the end of the day. But there were certain times also that you were requesting the military to also join the Aragalia. Now, you being a military man, you know that you cannot bypass orders. So they kept their cool to push forward to it, but also they were getting unnecessary flack for this. What is your opinion on that?
It was like this. I never asked them to support Argalaya,
Right,
that they are not supposed to do.
right,
But this particular Argalaya was came at the voice of the people. No?
that's right.
Of course.
Basically, it was the sentiments it exhibited the sentiments of the people
Right,
due to the prevailing situation in the country. That is how Argalaya was created.
right,
So therefore, the military and those who are defending the country, on the other hand, they have a duty towards the people.
okay,
Basically, the responsibility of the military is to protect the constitution and the people.
And the people.
right,
And it doesn't say anywhere that you have to protect the politicians.
right,
Basically,
right, right,
that in the process of protecting the constitution, of course, the politician was supposed to be the guardians of the constitution.
right, right,
Get that cover from as a subsidiary outcome.
Right,
So I was telling the troops that I know some politicians expecting the troops to open up fire
okay,
at the people. I know some politicians are interested to see the troops assault them and repulse these Argalaya activities and various things.
right,
So I thought it was not correct. As the military, they were not fighting insurgency or something.
that's right,
The people unarmed.
right,
So therefore, using weaponry and using force against them,
right,
I thought it was not correct actually. It was incorrect to retaliate like that.
right,
So therefore, I was telling the troops, these are the people. In fact, these are the people who are asking for their rights. The people are going through a very bad period. They have come out. They have never come out in the past like this.
that's right,
They came on streets, irrespective of political affiliations or irrespective of their status in the society. They ignored all that and they all together came on streets.
right,
Of course.
Then I don't see any reason for the military to go out and retaliate and repulse such agitations.
right,
I don't think it's correct.
right,
It's basically a police duty also,
that's right,
dealing with those people.
yes, yes,
You normally deploy the military if there is armed struggle or something. If those who are challenging the military are armed,
right.
there is a risk of they're using weapons and
Correct.
So
attack.
do you also feel, sir, in the past that the military has been used at their whim and fancy whenever they want?
The lines have been blurred.
Yeah, because I mean, what can be controlled by the police is not necessarily controlled, but just
Definitely.
throw the military whenever they want.
Yeah, because the military trained for something else.
Exactly, exactly.
When you say in the past, of course, during the wartime, that was a situation which police could not control.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we were fighting well-trained terrorists who are armed with equally good weapons like what we were having.
Right,
And they were inflicting a lot of casualties on military also.
right,
It was definitely beyond the police to manage.
Of Right. course.
So that time I think it was like basically a insurgency and a armed conflict.
Yeah, and certainly in Colombo, a guerrilla war, I mean,
Yes.
because
They were murdering innocent people. They
That's
were
right.
attacking the places of worship and various things. So therefore, I think the military had a task at that time.
Right.
But under those present circumstances, I still don't see any requirement to use the military.
Right.
The police, our police are equipped also.
Right.
I mean, if there is a people gathering like that, uprising, I don't think you can use anything more than, say, a baton charge by the police. If it comes worst,
Right.
either tear gas and those water cannons and various things.
Right. Right.
So if the people have come in a way which is not possible for police to have any control,
Right.
they are onwards.
Right.
That means I think after that the people have won the war.
That's right. That's right.
They have won the day.
That's right. That's right.
Then it is job of the. In fact, that day at the gold face, I told
I actually wanted to actually.
them, if the people are threatening the VIP,
Right.
those who are doing VIP security is trained, take the VIP away,
Right.
Yes.
not to attack the people.
That's right. That's right.
That is a basic lesson with the VIP security anywhere in the world.
Right. Right.
So I don't know whether they understood that and to go away.
Also, before we get into this question, let's just get into this question. Nana.
Actually, just before that, I just want to know, because now we have quite an extensive military in not just the army and the navy and the air force. Now, what role can they play, sir, in the country, moving forward? Because obviously it's very top heavy. Right now there's a lot more people because there is no war on now. So how can they be a part of what happens next, in your opinion?
Can you explain again your question?
So basically the military, I mean, it's got the same personnel strength that we had during the war. Maybe, around, I think it's hovering around the same numbers. Do we need that many people right now in the country to be in the military? Or can they be, deployed for something else, some other development work?
It's like this. Actually, at the moment, I think it has come down to about 150,000.
Okay.
Maybe a little more. That including the volunteer force.
Okay.
Normally, the volunteer force is mobilized when the deployment requirements are going beyond the capacity of the regulars. But in our country, during the wartime, we had to keep the volunteer force mobilized permanently.
Permanently. Right.
So now the question is, unlike in the past, long ago, those who joined the volunteer force had the civilian job.
Right.
They had a different job.
That's right.
But they are only mobilized like in many other countries.
Right.
But during the war, what happened? No, those who joined the volunteer force had no jobs.
Right.
So after hanging on to this volunteer job, volunteer force duties, sometimes 10 years, 20 years after that, they are too late to go out and look for a job.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
They
Yes.
have become, say, 30 years, 40 years old. So we had no choice, we had to keep these people. So even now, then what we can do, we can't send these people out. The soldiers also don't like to do various odd jobs here and
Correct.
there. So they are trained, most of them, mostly the seniors especially.
Right.
They were trained to fight pitch battle basically.
Absolutely.
So if you ask them to go and do security jobs here and there or something, they will go home rather than doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have an obligation to ensure that chasing a man out is easy. But then what happened to his family and then we have to maintain,
Yes.
what happened to those who are
Of course.
relying on him. So those are the issues. But on the other hand, security is not something which you can organize only when there is requirement and when there is a war.
Right.
Even in smaller countries,
You have to
there
have
are
power.
huge armies.
Yes.
Like if you take Singapore, for example, they had the biggest army in the Southeast Asia.
Right.
Really?
Wow.
Their defense budget is bigger than Australia or New Zealand or Malaysia or Indonesia.
Really? Such a small country.
Yes.
Wow.
So
I
they are
never
trained
knew.
3 million people,
Right.
although they are
Yeah.
normal citizens.
Right.
They do have a volunteer.
I think they have a
mandatory
lot of
service.
equipment, ships, the ground attack aircraft, all that available. Kept. I think they have taken a land on rent from Australia or somewhere,
Right.
and they have kept all those things. So security must not be neglected. Also.
Right. Right.
Certainly not. This is Bradley Emerson who sends in this question, sir. Would you be willing to lead a group of clean professionals, say 40 in number, to Parliament?
From outside to Parliament,
Yes.
it is like this. To be in the Parliament, my experience, you can bring a most educated or a professionally qualified person, but parliamentarian has a responsibility towards people, basically.
Right.
Even running a ministry, just because you have the knowledge,
Yeah.
it is not easy because there are a lot of administrative responsibilities there.
Right.
You have to work with a lot of people, secretaries and down below, who are qualified in that field.
Right.
So, administering qualified people, these are all qualified people who will be working under you. Basically, you also need experience.
Right.
Of course.
You have to go up the channel, then you have had that experience at some stage, then only you can control those people and do the administration.
Right.
Even the Vietmaga thing,
Yes.
there are a lot of professionals who had come,
Absolutely.
but we can hear they're sitting in the back, they're
Right.
clueless about politics, no
Right.
political experience.
Right.
And backbencher will not be taken into the cabinet of ministers or something straight away.
That's right.
Even if you come to the cabinet of ministers,
Yeah.
you could see some people from Vietnam came,
Yes.
but I don't think they were the most successful.
That's
Right.
true. I think none of them
So
actually.
those issues are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they come, they'll have to start as backbenchers.
Yeah.
Definitely they have to start as backbenchers.
Right.
They will not be able to run the country sitting on top straight away.
And work their way up, most probably.
Work their way up. And also, parliamentarian, if he's a doctor, engineer, or lawyer, he can't go there only to do that profession.
Yes.
Right.
You have to definitely be thorough with looking after the interests of the people, public.
That's right. Most
For
important
these
thing.
things, you need some experience.
Absolutely.
Right.
මේ ගයන් අහනවා සර් මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ. ෆොන්සේකා සර් හිතන විදිහට පාර්ලිමේන්තු එකේ ඉන්න හුරුන්ගෙන්ද නැත්නම් ජනතාව අතර ඉන්න පොඩි ගෲප්ස්ද අපේ රටේ law and order එකට ලොකුම threat එක.
මේක සිංහලෙන්
සිංහල ප්‍රශ්නේ ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් ටයිප් කළා.
සිංහලෙන් උත්තර දෙන්න.
ඔව්
Oh.
of course.
ඇත්තටම දැන් පොඩි ගෲප්ස් law and order violate කරන නීතිය කඩ කරන පොඩි ගෲප්ස් උත් ඒගොල්ලෝ පවතින්නේ මේගොල්ලන්ට ආරක්ෂාව සහ ආශිර්වාද තියෙනවා ප්‍රබල මිනිස්සු. ඒක හින්දා. එතකොට ඒ ප්‍රබල මිනිස්සු හැම වෙලේම එක්ක දේශපාලනඥයෝ ආශ්‍රය කරන කට්ටිය. ඒක හන්දා සමහර අපේ රටේ දේශපාලන සංස්කෘතියේ අපේ දේශපාලනඥයෝ මැර වැඩ කරන අය වටේ තියා ගන්නවා ඒගොල්ලොන්ගේ එක වැඩවලට. මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ දේශපාලනය කරන්නේ ඇඟේ හයියෙන් මොලේ හයියට වඩා. ඊට පස්සේ ජාව අරන් කරනවා. සමහර ගල් කොරියක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. වැලි පටවන වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සැබෑරුමක් තියෙනවා. ඒ තැන් වලට ඒගොල්ලන්ට මැර වැඩ කරන මිනිස්සු ඕනේ. ඉතින් ඒක හන්දා ඒ සංස්කෘතිය නිසා මං හිතන්නේ මේ පාතාල අපරාධකාරයන්ගේ ජාලයක් රටේ ගොඩ නැගෙනවා. අපි හොඳටම දන්නවා දැන් ඔය හිටියේ වෙලේ සුදා කියලා හිටියා. ඔය මදුෂ් ඒ වගේ පාතාලේ උඩම හිටපු අය ළඟින්ම ලින්ක් කළා හිටිය සමහර පොලිටිෂියන්ස්ලා.
Right.
එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ සමහරලාට දේශපාලනඥයාගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් අනුව ඉන්නවා. uneducated කිසි විෂන් එකක් නැති දේශපාලනඥයෝ අපේ පාර්ලිමේන්තු එකේ more than 50%. ඒගොල්ලෝ එන්ජොයි කරන්නේ අර වගේ ලයිෆ් එකක් තමයි. කොහරි යනකොට මල් මාලා දාන්න ඕනේ, රතිඤ්ඤ පත්තු කරන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ මිනිස්සු අයින් වෙලා වඳින්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් ඒවා කරව ගන්න අර මැරයෝත ඒ වගේ ජාතිය වටේ ඉන්න ඕනේ.
Right.
ඒක තමයි මේ රටේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ. ඒ කල්චර් එක තියෙනවා. ඒ කල්චර් එකේ ජීවත් වෙන ඉඳලා මේ හුඟක් ප්‍රශ්න අවුල් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
ඇත්තටම.
So now let's talk about the current situation now, obviously, with where we are in terms of the country. When the then Prime Minister was basically asked to step down, he resigned and he left, Mahinda Rajapaksa. There was a lot of chaos in the country. The SJP leader, Sajith Premadasa, was requested to come and take on the Prime Minister role by the then President. He refused. The second option was you, sir. Now, you went and met the President at that time. You also refused. Now, we know what the opposition leader basically refused 4, and there were certain details that was given. We only know that you were called. We only know that you refused. We don't know why. So what was the reason?
It was like this. Our party stance at some stage was, even my stance was actually, if we get the presidency, prime ministership, premiership, and also cabinet ministers, we must accept and run a minority government.
Right.
Of course, with some understanding with the other side,
Right.
who have majority, because we had done it in 2015 after we got the government.
Yeah.
With 44 MPs, we ran the government for 1 year.
Right.
So under these circumstances, in the crisis situation, you can do that.
Right.
That was my thinking. But the party, others, the hierarchy, they had different ideas.
Okay.
Sajith was determined, adamant to say that he need the majority.
Right.
He not ready to accept anything without a majority. Then various others talking about the economy and various things.
Right.
They had various doubts. They had issues. They were wondering at some stage, shall we take it, whether we should take it, whether it's a risk, whether we can manage. A lot of questions are being discussed.
Right.
So that was the background, something like that.
Right. Okay.
At the same time, our people, seniors who are advising Sajith also, there are a lot of too many, from my point of view, there are too many discussions.
Okay.
So I am not used to have too many discussions.
Yes, we know.
Even when I was fighting the war, I had only 3-hour conference once a week in Vaunia.
Right.
I had never had any, although we used to shift sometimes 2,000-3,000 in one night to north.
Right.
And sometimes dead bodies wounded, about 200 people are shifted to Colombo within a couple of hours. But I had never had any conferences after 7 o'clock night.
Right.
So taking decisions, understanding the problem.
Right.
When there are too much talking, too much discussion, that means you are grouping in the dark,
Right. Confused.
confused,
Right.
not understanding the issues. So there are a lot of discussions. There are people advising.
Right.
They were harping on Gotabe leaving.
Right.
But I was thinking myself, the people, the country was also asking Gotabe to go.
Right.
But on the other hand, I knew he had come with 69 lakhs of votes.
Right.
He will not be ready to leave just because we are asking him to go.
That's right.
Unless he also get a fair deal somewhere, come to some compromise.
Right.
Yes.
So under those circumstances, I think when Sajith was asked to take over, he had said, President has to go if I am to take over.
Right.
So Gotabe was not in agreement with that.
Right.
Then that was his stance.
Yes.
Then the goal face episode took place,
Yes.
attacking the people and
Yes.
swimming in the bay and all that.
Yes.
Then I can't remember the day. Anyway, 2 days before Anil, I think, took oaths
Yeah.
as Prime Minister.
Right.
I got a message from Gotabe. After 12 years, I had nothing to do with them all this time.
Oh, okay.
Of
So there
course
was
you
no conversation between.
No communication at all.
Right. Okay.
Of course, during the 2019 presidential election, he was sending me a lot of messages.
Right.
Asking me to come and work with him. At one stage, he said, other than the finance ministry, he is ready to give any ministry to me.
Right.
There were messages coming like that, but I didn't even respond.
Right.
Then this time, he sent me a message through a known person.
Right.
I said he wanted to have a discussion with me about the security situation in the country.
Okay.
Because this gold face attack
Yeah,
and major
yeah.
problems.
Right.
The fire, the people are setting
yeah.
fire
Setting fire to
all
the
over the country,
houses,
houses.
yeah.
They on fire. Then because of that, I decided to go.
Right.
Of course, I told Sajith and went. I
Right.
said, there is a invitation like this, I am going to meet him.
Right.
Then Sajith told me there are different parties discussing politics with him, so he requested me not to talk politics.
Right.
I said, don't worry, I am not interested.
Right.
Because when I went there, he spoke about 1 hour about security. Then suddenly he asked me, Sarath in Sinhala he said.
Yeah.
මම ඔයාට හැමදාම කිව්වානේ එන්න මායක වැඩ කරන්න කියලා. මේ අගමැතිකම ගන්න. අද හවස දිවුරන්න ඔයා මේක ගන්න කියලා. He said that, something like that.
Right.
Then I asked him, why don't you ask Sajid to take over? Then he said, Sajid is asking me to go. Therefore, I am not giving it to him.
Right.
A very short and sweet answer.
Right.
Then I thought there is situation, there is chaos in the country also. Of course, I knew if I take any decision, I will keep my party informed.
Right.
Not only party informed, I'll keep the Aragale also informed. I will
Yes.
go to and talk to the party.
Right.
I might go to Goldface and talk to Aragale also.
Right.
So that was my thinking.
Right.
I said, if I am to take over, there are certain conditions.
Right.
Then he was interested to know. I said, the people asking you to go, you have to face the reality, I said. The moment I said people are asking you to go, I was surprised. He told me, Sarath, in this country, up to the time the Goldface fellows were attacked, there was no problem in this country, he said. Can you imagine? No? He left Miriana, he's sitting in President's house, there are barricades right around the house. He's telling no issues in the country. So I didn't want to argue back on that. I said, anyway, the people asking you to go. I am not asking for the pound of flesh. But first condition, if I have to take over, you have to take a step back, I said. Because people want you to go.
Right.
I am not asking you to go, but you have to take a step back so that the people will be happy. At least you have washed your hands off.
Right.
At least for certain. I didn't ask him to totally go off.
Right.
I said, that is one. Then I said, 19th Amendment has to come
Right.
in the original condition.
Format, yeah.
Right.
So that president can't hold any ministries or anything. Then, after that, you can't even keep a ministry for you.
Right.
You must get back. You can run the Security Council, I said. You can even come as the head of the cabinet.
Right.
But the ministries must come to the Prime Minister. Then the people will know that you have taken a step back.
Right.
When I said that, he said, but the Defense Ministry, it's okay, if I keep it. I said, no, nothing doing. You have to, because you have to prove a point to the people.
That's right.
Not because anything else.
Right.
Then he said, okay, then we'll do it like that.
Okay.
Then I said, if that is the case, today by 9 o'clock, you go on the TV and give a message to the nation and say you are inviting someone who can be trusted by the people to come and accept the position of Prime Minister. Then make an announcement like that.
Right.
9 o'clock. I said, after that, you have to give me 48 hours. I will go back and talk to the party.
Right.
In fact, later on, I heard the fact that I was discussing this with President. The message had come to party somewhere. There was party group meeting at that time.
Right.
So there have been many people who were happy when they heard that I am going to take this or something
Oh, right. Okay.
at the group meeting. So I said I have to talk to the party, then I have to talk to I will go to Goldface and talk to them also
Right.
before I accept this.
Right.
He said, okay, everything is fine. He said, I will send you the draft also before I talk on the TV. He said, I'll send you the draft by 7 o'clock. So I went home. Draft never came. But he went on TV and said exactly what I told him to say.
Right.
Then after about 1 hour, around 10 o'clock, he rings me up and says, Sarath තරහ වෙන්න එපා. මහින්දයි චමලුයි කැමති නෑ මම ඔයාලට මේක දෙනවට. ඒගොල්ලෝ බයයි.
Right.
Then විහිළුවට වගේ like jokingly he said මටත් ටිකක් බය හිතුණා. That was the end of the story.
Wow.
But if all that had taken place that day,
Right.
Gotabaya would have been still president today.
Right. Right. Right.
And this
Right.
country, all the issues would have gone in a different direction.
Different direction at the moment.
Then even our party, I am sure, some consensus I could have come with Sajid also.
Correct.
Give him also proper responsibilities.
Yes.
Somehow he can manage to.
But why is the SJB not joining the president? I mean, I think you have also gone on record a couple of days ago stating the fact that the all-party government is no use at the moment. And SJB is also standing very strong, saying that they're not going to join the president. But the requirement for the country is everybody in the parliament are the ones who can make the change. Everybody needs to work together. Why is the SJB not joining the president?
No, it's like this now. They have the president, they have the prime minister also.
Right.
About two people.
Right.
So when a lot of people don't understand the gravity of this,
Right.
even the clergy and all educated people in Colombo, well-to-do people, they don't understand the depth of this, the issue.
Right.
I think Lakshman Kiriella put it in a simple language. He said, "Kunu karattata gilla apatat nagina baya," or something.
Right. Yes.
So you know the reputation they have,
Yeah.
the type of people who are there,
Yeah.
the type of senior people they have.
Right.
So we have only 51 MPs. They might offer us 5 or 6 cabinet minister portfolios.
Right.
And obviously the majority will be from them. Then all party, then
Yeah. Correct.
Maithripala Sirisena also will have to be there. Vimal Veeravansa also will have to be there. All types of crooks will have to be there. Because they are all party leaders.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Because they have a right to come there.
That's right.
Because unless all the parties are there, it's not all party
That's right.
government anymore.
Right.
So therefore, I think that it will be just a waste of time
Okay.
if we try to go and sit there and have a couple of ministries and trying to drag this government on the right direction. It's not going to work. It will be just a waste of time. We have to dance according to the music.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it will not do any good. At least now, they are all united and they are all the same type of people, all alike.
Right.
So they might do something better than
Right.
the different types of people
Trying to give,
trying to
too many
cooks
in the, yeah.
yes,
correct.
in the soup.
Right.
Will be, because you can remember what happened when Maithripala and Ranil,
Yeah.
those two couldn't toe the line.
Right.
You can remember the chaos in the country at that time.
Yes. Yes.
So these are not going to work practically.
Right.
On the other hand, we have a reputation.
Right.
I want to maintain my reputation.
Right.
And I have principles.
Right.
So even when I said, okay, prime ministership, I can take it, then I would have definitely said I will select the ministers.
Right.
There are good people on that side also,
Right.
but not those senior people who are running the show on that side.
Right.
There are a couple of good people also. So then you can see even now, if we have at least the prime ministership,
Okay.
if we are asked to select the people, if we have the chance of selecting the people, we can think of some good people,
Yes.
a better cabinet.
Right.
Then it will have, the performance will be in a different direction after that.
But sir, now what will work though? I mean, if you're saying the all-party government is not going to work, what will work? Because there has to be something that needs to work in a crisis.
There
Is
like-
the election the way forward?
In election, obviously, new election, the people can select new people,
Right.
but where the guarantee that same people will not be elected.
True.
Because a lot of others are not
Because
galvanized
the,
yet.
the existing political culture, the election will be held as per the present existing political culture.
That's right.
As far as these people, the majority of our people are poor, downtrodden,
Right.
it is easy to exercise corrupt political culture,
Right.
corrupt political system.
Yeah.
So therefore, even if you go for election, although some people must be overestimating and thinking the JVP will get so much, I don't think, as per the history of this country,
Right.
it is not easy for the JVP to become the ruling party or something like that.
Right.
They might improve a little bit.
Right.
Then these two major parties, because the people have a habit, down the generations, they have divided themselves into these two major camps.
Yeah.
Right.
So obviously these two parties will come back. We have at least we have some confidence about our people.
Right.
I can't say, if I say that everybody in our camp is 100% clean, people might think I am a liar.
Right.
So I can't give that assurance.
Right.
But I think we are better than the other side, definitely.
Okay.
So that is a problem. On the other hand, running election is not very easy.
Yeah.
I saw the election commission had said somewhere, you let you have the polling booths in a petrol shed or something.
Yeah, because that's where everybody is.
All the people are there.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
They can't even find a little fuel for their motorcycles.
That's right.
And they are on queues, the gas queue, and various places. They have no money. They have lost their jobs.
Right,
They are not in a proper mental state
right.
to come and say vote for election. So all the issues are there. So, and on the other hand, with the present day's cost of living, to be very frank, when I contested last time, I had a land in Malawi, I sold it.
Okay.
I had a Montero Jeep at home, I sold it.
Right.
Because you can't contest without spending a fair amount of money.
Yes.
Right.
Now, I will give you an example. That time, printing a handbill
Right,
cost me 350 rupees.
right,
3 rupees and 50 cents.
right,
Distributing, I have to spend another about 450.
Yeah.
So 8 rupees.
right.
And I have to spend about Gampa 18 lakhs of votes.
Right.
So 3 lakhs of leaflets.
Right.
That time. So 3 lakhs into 8 rupees.
8 rupees.
Now, if you print and distribute leaflet, definitely it will cost you about 30 rupees.
Wow.
As per the cost of living today. I gave you only one example.
Yeah, yeah.
So, running for an election, I don't know whether it is practically possible now. Especially I know these MPs, backbenchers,
Right.
what they do,
Yeah.
you have to spend money for the election. Of course, I never gave Iraq and other things.
Right.
Nobody asked me for Iraq also.
Right.
I may be the only politician who contested without giving Iraq to the people.
Right.
I never gave a packet of rice.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't bribe people.
We can't give packet of rice today either. It's very expensive.
Yes. So that's another problem. On the other hand, the backbenchers and a lot of people, say 75% of the MPs, they borrow money from here and there and contest.
Right.
Not that everybody is a millionaire.
That's right.
There are people who spend about 100 million, 150 million also. But I think majority of them. So what happens after they come to parliament, they sell the permit and pay the loans.
Right.
Some people, the moment you are selected to parliament, you have already promised somebody that I'll give you the permit, get about 50 million and settle all the loans.
Right.
But the permit did not come.
Oh,
You can imagine the situation with them.
Right. Right. Right.
So how can you expect them to go for another election?
absolutely.
Right.
So these are the realities.
That's true.
And
That's
people must know. Although people say the MPs are given permit, this, that, and all that. This is what happens most of the time.
right. Which we don't know.
Absolutely. This is absolute new
It's
information.
a new information. It's like a revelation, as a matter of fact.
So,
Something that's going
yeah.
on.
Not only MPs. You take a doctor or an engineer in our country. Even the military officers used to get the permit.
Right.
Not the same capacity, but little lesser value and all
Yes.
that. What they do also, they will sell the permit. I know most of known people to me, doctors, engineers, they sell the permit,
Right.
then buy a smaller car
Yeah.
and save about half that money.
That's right.
They do something else with that.
With that money. Right.
Try to start building a house or something like that. So
Right. Right.
these things are happening. These are the reality.
So the current,
all that will be rejected by the people now.
Of course.
Because they have destroyed the treasury.
That's right.
The treasury has gone dry.
Right.
So therefore people don't accept any of these things.
so the
So
current
that is
president,
about the election,
yeah.
this question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So under those circumstances, you can imagine running an election.
Right.
Then on the other hand, the corrupt politicians who are already in the parliament. What are the people and the Aragale people asking? They are asking system change.
That's right.
So whatever you do, you must be able to achieve that, no?
That's true.
The system change. System change, when you say system change, it includes the change of political culture. Change of political culture. Then proper people going there, qualified. Qualified people straight away can't become good politician. That's a different issue.
Right.
You must start from the bottom.
Right.
But in other countries, like if you say UK, I think the majority are Oxford qualified,
Right.
not just graduates. If you take USA, the Obama and many others are all Harvard qualified.
Right.
They're the cream in the country.
That's right.
So that type of people must
Absolutely.
come as per what the people are
Yeah.
visualizing now.
Is it only the
Expecting
politicians?
now with that type of system change.
Yeah, but shouldn't the officials also kind of change and that system, because our bureaucracy is also crippling. You know, they can stall anything they want to if they want to.
No, but if it is like this, if you are a minister who has come there only to bust up the money given to you,
Right.
aiming at getting more and more votes or developing your own electorate or village, thinking that you are stabilizing your next jump,
That's right.
Right.
then you are leaving doors open for the government servant,
Yeah.
the secretary bureaucrats
Yeah.
to interfere in different ways.
Right.
But if you are come with the proper intention, if you know your job, now when I had the ministry, I was at advantage because I had run a department with 200,000 people. So all that experience helped me out a long way.
Right.
I knew how the government budgeting and all that is taking
Correct.
place.
Correct.
Various procedures.
Right. Right.
So because of that, there are issues.
Yeah.
On the other hand, government as it is, I think 75% people are very corrupt.
Right.
Starting from some secretaries, not all,
Yeah.
down to the PN, the office assistant,
Yeah.
people are corrupt.
Of course.
I'll tell you a story. There's a temple in Colombo.
Right.
That priest one day, when another MP who went there, one of my friends, he has showed him a BMW car which was parked in the temple. He has said, sir, BMW car එක පේනවනේ. ඕකේ එන මිනිහා මෙතනට ඇවිල්ලා කාර් එක පාක් කළා. මෙතන ඉඳලා 3 wheel එක යන ඔෆිස් එකට. 3 wheel එකේ ආපහු ඇවිල්ලා BMW එකෙන් ගෙදර යනවා.
Right.
So he comes back,
Right.
the
Right.
3 wheeler. Then from the temple he goes home in the BMW.
Right.
The person is a PN in a department.
Really?
In a department where enough corruption.
Wow. Wow.
So this is what is happening in Sri Lanka.
Absolutely, sir.
We're actually into the final 3 minutes of the show. So one final question before we actually do go on. Right now we are under an emergency regulation. Is it a requirement when a country is in crisis right now? Is the emergency regulation a requirement? Because can you actually confine people and start, trying to control the law and order, which is still not happening, even though we're in emergency regulation?
Yeah, in fact, what has happened is they have established emergency regulation at this time, enforce emergency, to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Normally, the emergency in the past, it was to protect people,
Right.
not to protect the politicians.
Right.
Even when the war time, the emergency was there for years and years.
Yeah.
Right.
That was mainly to protect the people.
Right.
But now, this time, the emergency has come to protect this bunch of corrupt politicians. Nothing else.
Right.
To protect the politician and the people.
Right. Right.
So can you imagine? I don't think the emergency is meant for that.
Absolutely.
And they are abusing it by taking all these, using those additional powers to arrest the youths.
Right.
And they are giving a fear psychosis to the whole community,
Right.
to the whole population. Totally abusing it.
Right.
I think they are not doing the right thing. Actually, when it is happening like this, the world community must be awake. They must keep their eyes open.
Right.
They must also, today's context, the world community has to interfere in certain places at certain stages.
Right.
Because you can't allow the people just because they come in from election. They are representing the people, all right, but after that, if they come and start doing all sort of mad things,
Right.
then people become helpless.
Absolutely.
In the world, in various other places, the international community has
Intervene. Yes.
intervened on behalf of the people.
Right.
So
And right
emergency
now-
regulation
Yeah.
and the way they are arresting people and putting them in behind bars and all that is not accepted. The certain government immediately must withdraw the emergency regulation and stop this harassment to the youths
Right.
who were demanding for their rights,
Right.
who were fighting for their rights.
Right. Right.
The people in this country must understand that, of course, some politicians, they are catchers, They are thrilled at this stage, very happy. They are throwing mud at us also, saying that we were giving our blessings to Aragalaya.
Right.
They think they have won the war now. They think they have won the day. But this type of victory for them is not going to last long.
Yeah, just another question that just popped up. I think this was discussed in the parliament today. The government spokesman. This takes us back to the issue that actually happened in the parliament of breaking public property in the parliament.
Yes.
And of course safeguarding the then speaker. When none of them are actually being arrested, why are the innocent youth being arrested? And a very interesting answer that was actually given was the fact that the parliament, whatever happens, it's like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So what happens in parliament obviously cannot be governed by the law outside the parliament. What do you have to say on that, sir?
No, whether being in the parliament
Yeah,
does not give you any protection from the normal law in the country.
exactly what we wanted to hear.
So if you murder a person in the parliament,
Right.
does it mean that, okay,
Yeah. It's not a privilege.
you will not be charged for murder or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a privilege. On the other hand, now they are charging these fellows for eating a piece of pepper or something in the fridge.
Yes.
Then somebody must have thought that president's flag was a piece of batik cloth or something and he was wearing it.
Right.
And was jumping into the pool and various things. So my message is, people are fighting for more important things.
That's right.
Like in a war, you fight a war to look after your territorial integrity and sovereignty of the country. Then there are a lot of collateral damage.
Right.
But the intentions are clear. You have a task, you have a purpose. Now here, they went for a purpose.
Right.
They are fighting for the nation,
Right.
for the people's rights. When that happens, they can't give priority for a piece of antique or something.
Right.
Then a picture on the wall.
Right.
Those are nothing, because these things are much more important.
A beer mug.
The beer mug,
Yes.
or even a building.
Right.
The building might have some archaeological value,
Right.
but then a certain amount of damage to that building, you can forget about it. If the achievements are much higher and much more important and much more precious.
Right. Right.
So that is the way you should have looked at it. These people are behaving actually like horror police now, no? The children,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
children pay
Yes, sir.
horror police, so the government is trying to do horror police with the youth now.
Right. Almost done with the show. I mean,
Yeah.
just again, don't know exactly whether an hour went by.
Yeah.
So much we obviously have learned on the show right now. But Anu, let's go back to the poll that we actually
That's right.
started off
At
with earlier on.
the beginning of the show, this was the poll we gave to you, because we hear so much about, bodies washing up on show and, people being shot in absolutely public places, caught on CCTV camera. So our poll was based on that, because a lot of people feel that if, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseka was in charge of public security, or at least the civil defense, none of these things would happen. And I'm sure you would make sure of that. So our poll was this: is the lack of law and order in Sri Lanka now the worst you have seen? Yes or no answers only. And you were supposed to WhatsApp your answers to our hotline, 077 669 1590. And here we have the responses. 60% say the lack of law and order in Sri Lanka now is the worst they have seen. I actually thought it would be much more.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought so too. And I suppose the answers coming in right now possibly, it's a mixture of the older generation and the younger generation
Yeah.
also. Because the younger generation clearly weren't around when the war was around.
Correct,
So
correct.
possibly that could be one of the reasons that I honestly thought we would have it somewhere around between the high 80s.
Yes, yeah.
Because
I-
every day you actually get a text message saying another body has washed ashore.
Absolutely.
But it's funny that we were discussing off air with the Field Marshal also is the fact that nothing happens after this
The bodies are found.
found.
Yeah.
Nothing happens after that. And I mean, like we mentioned, while the investigation is going on, there was another body that's been found.
Correct.
So we don't know where we are going right now. But I wish we can actually carry on talking, sir. There was so much that we can actually ask you and so many great wartime stories that we can actually get. But unfortunately, we're only given 1 hour. So
Yeah.
it's time for us to basically say goodnight. But thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute privilege to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for getting me down here.
Thank you, and hopefully we can have you back on the show
Yes, sir,
again.
please come back, and because we will have the rest of the conversation then.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Another great show on Channel 1 Dialogue TV, and of course, our pod platform, Sit Back with Shaq and Anu. That's it as far as this week is concerned. We're taking a break tomorrow, Anu.
That's right. Tomorrow is Poya, so we thought everyone can chill out. See you on Monday.
That's right. Have yourself a wonderful night. We'll see you once again on Monday night at 9:30. Till then, have a great week ahead and good night.
Take care. Bye-bye.